All right, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to TrainWorld TV. We have a very special episode. It's kind of like the pre-York before the show, and a lot of information tonight, and a lot of people probably wondering, guessing, questions. Wants everybody kind of wants to know the status, and including myself. I want to know what's going on. And tonight is the night where we try to get some answers from MTH. And as everybody is well aware, a while ago, MTH kind of Mike Wolf announced the retirement. But there's some good news, and I'm not going to share it all. We'll have all these fine gentlemen on with me tonight, kind of go over it. And I have Rich Foster from you all know Rich. The is hold on, let me mute him for a sec. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing great, Kenny. Thanks for having us.
All right, thanks for joining. And to your, I guess, right hand side, if you're looking at that screen, we have Andy Edelman. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us. It's a little hectic getting this together, but glad to be here tonight.
All right, and we have not a stranger, but new for MTH, Mike Regan. How you doing, Mike?
Doing great, Kenny. Thanks for having us, man.
All right, and my father, Ken Senior. And I can't unmute because you chose to mute yourself, so we can't hear you right now. All right, you can. All right.
Rich, you have a savior.
All right, yeah. That's why Rich came early. He tested, he was prepared, and he even brought in Andy to help him. So we're on target. But all right, so I don't know where we want to start. You guys were kind enough to send this whole 5-page, I guess, excerpt on what you guys want to go over. So either Rich, Andy, or Mike, whoever wants to start it off.
Well, I wrote the script, so I think I'll start it, and then I'll let Rich blabber on, and then Mike will give us his insights. I do not work for MTH Electric Trains anymore as a direct employee, and I'm still involved with the company in the sense that I'm helping with their product artwork development and marketing efforts and so forth. Pretty much my old job, but as a contractor, along with my whole team that used to be employed directly by the company. And that's why the background behind me says Prime Mover, because that's the name of the company. But one of the things that we wanted to convey tonight was that the team that has brought all these products to you, over 33,000 products over the last 35 years or so, it's still pretty much together. It's just a smaller structure. They've got a lot less space over there, and some of us who are direct employees are now doing contract work for the company. So hopefully that explains the background, why I'm not wearing my MTH shirt, and what I'm doing here. Do I got that right there, Rich?
That sounds right. I mean, Andy's still a big part of this place, and in terms of he and I go back 30 some years in this, in this industry, and we bounce things off each other all the time. And he's a valuable part of what we're choosing to build and make, and helping out with his experience. So he's still, I consider Andy part of the team.
So Rich, what was the other part of the transition? Can you lead into that and get people clear up, and maybe that'll give them some indication why Mike Regan is with us tonight?
Well, they pretty much, well, first, I want to thank all the customers that have supported us through this tumultuous 18 months or so. Pretty much ever since the COVID hit, we've been in, we've had some choppy waters, but we're here, we're doing well, and thanks to all the customers in our dealer base continuing to support us. There is basically three companies. There's the train company. It's going to be approximately half as many offerings as the previous, a year or two ago. It still should be a significant amount of offerings during the year. There'll also be a technology company, which is still run by Dave Kriebel, our Vice President of R&D up in Western Michigan. And then, of course, MTH Parts and Sales, which Mike Reagan will be here to talk about that tonight. And how they've got a beautiful new website. It's quick. They've done a lot of work on it. So people out there should go on mthpartsandsales.com after they watch Mike's presentation of how to navigate the site a little bit. And so that's where we are.
So with the parts and service side, when Mike gets to that, that's a big part of the transition, and it was only part of the company that pretty much shut down, right? We shipped no parts for a number of months while that part of the business got spooled up. So I'm sure people are anxiously awaiting new parts orders and so forth, and Mike will take care of that for them. The other big thing about the company's transition is how we're marketing product, and this is where I come in, and it's a little bit differently from the old way of catalog announcements. Those catalogs consumed us. They were 125 pages with 600 items in them, 2 a year, plus a train set book, plus the other scales. So we had HO and S gauge and G gauge. And as many of you know, we sold the HO and the S gauge tools off, and we did sell some of our O gauge tooling as well. But what's left will be about 600 items a year, kind of divided between direct offerings from MTH to all of our retailers, as well as special runs for some of our authorized MTH retailers who will have exclusive distribution over those particular items. And the big thing that folks need to be aware of is how they get that information. Where we used to mail catalogs, that no longer happens. So all of the announcements are done through our e-newsletter. And the e-newsletter is something you can subscribe to. It's right on the home page. You can go right to it, sign up if you haven't already. And when you're there, you can check out previous announcements, and you'll be able to basically stay abreast of what we're doing. You can obviously visit the website and see those same announcements. They'll show up on the home page. You see the O-scale center cupola caboose message right there. And when you get the newsletters, that same type of message shows up, as well as other relevant information. What we shipped recently, what's coming in, any new developments from Mike's side of the business with the parts will be in those newsletters. And then the other side of it is, of course, the custom run business. That's a slightly different looking newsletter, and it has those announcements for those particular retailers. In a moment, Rich will touch on a bunch that we're doing for TrainWorld. This particular one, pardon me guys, the Biancos, I neglected to put one of your announcements up. Don't shoot the messenger, my bad. But that's what a typical announcement would look like, with a direct link back to the dealer where you can place those orders. So that's basically how you're going to get your information. If you're a subscriber or on our social media pages, you'll see it there as well. Pretty much on Wednesdays, we do MTH announcements, and Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we do custom run announcements for a particular retailer. So that's the gist of it, and it's a new way to do things, and it's challenging, but with the team that we've had for years doing this work, we're pretty confident that we're going to keep giving you products that you find appealing, that we like to do, and business as usual from that perspective. So go ahead.
I would like to chime in, just for those of you that are getting the newsletters and you're going to run into buddies at York. Who knows, in a few days. Make sure everybody knows that's they need to subscribe, stay in touch. We get a lot of phone calls. People didn't even know we were continuing to promote new product, and I have to walk them through how to subscribe. So please pass the word along. You'd be helping us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right.
So, Rich, why don't you jump into our most recent announcements and then give Kim Jr. and Senior a shout out with all the product we're doing for them.
Before you jump into that, just one thing real quick. We got a couple of questions. The first for Andy and Rich. Are both of you guys going to York, or is anyone going to York for MTH, I guess? Or?
So you asked if anybody was going to York?
Yes, for MTH.
So the answer is yes, but not in an official capacity. There was no MTH display. There will be a parts and sales display, which Mike Reagan will be manning, and he'll be there to walk people through. I think you're selling some product as well, parts product. And Rich and I will just be walking the floor, glad handing people, kick me on their backside, that kind of thing. Maybe try to do some business. But there will be no official display.
All right.
Yeah,
Very good.
We will be walking the show, though. You will be able to say hi and
Okay.
maybe spit at us, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever you find appropriate.
And the customers that asked if TrainWorld is going, so far we do plan on going, barring any COVID setbacks. So we'll just take it from there. The other thing is G-Scale. MTH is doing G-Scale as well. So I know a lot of people are asking, oh, just O-Scale, but you guys are planning to do G-Scale, correct?
That's correct. We haven't delivered 100% of the SD70 Aces yet. I think we still need to get the demonstrator version out, and there's still some rolling stock, and the Alco PAs are actually due in here early November.
All right.
All right, did you figure out how to do your screen share there, Rich?
Poor Ken Sr. can't get a word in edgewise. He's talking, but no one's listening.
I think he's permanently muted.
Yeah, you're gonna have to you have to take yourself off mute, Senior. I can see your mouth moving, but there's no words coming out.
Oh, boy. All right. My son set me up again. Look at this.
I can sort of hear you now. That's good.
Well, the latest announcement we've made are some GP35s, and basically they're available in 5 road names: Alaska, Erie Lac, Mopac, Pennsy, and Norfolk and Western. I went through those a little quick probably, but you will see those, as Andy told you. If you go to the news section of on our homepage, you'll see any of the latest announcements, and there's archives there as well for you. We've also got some real cool flats with pup trailers that we've recently promoted. Those of you who are big York fans, this one features the Pickles of York potato chip trailers. So we've got Pennsylvania flat car, the P&LE flat car with the Clark candy bar trailers, the Cheerwine trailers on an ACL, and the Santa Fe with the Big Red soda. So those have been very popular. We've been very pleased with the support our dealers have showed us on the pre-orders on those. So that's been very good.
Hey, Rich, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Didn't we do some sort of candy car with a contest in the box or a certificate or something?
Yes, we did. It was Bonomo Turkish Taffy.
Okay.
It had to be 15 years ago or so. I can't remember.
Right, I was just wondering. The Clark bar reminded me of that. Did everybody turn in their thing?
Pretty much everybody did. At the end, we might have had one or two, and I think they somehow got pilfered by somebody, maybe Mike. I'm not sure who took the last of the.
Well, what happens if those people open their box and said, you want a car or whatever it
Well,
was?
that's
How are you going to handle that?
got to be a statute of limitations on the offer. I mean, I don't know, but you can put it in a time box someplace. But,
Right. Well, fortunately, I'm a contractor now, so that's not my problem.
well, that said, and then we're going to get into some of TrainWorld's been supporting us very well, not only with the general offering, but with some of the custom runs that they're doing exclusives, which you can find on their website if you shop by brand, right, Kenny? I believe you got them tagged as exclusives.
Yeah, we actually have a section on our website. You could shop for TrainWorld exclusives under Shop by Brand, so it's all separated out for you.
So we designed a pretty cool pacemaker Jeep for them that it's available in two cab numbers. So those of you that are fans of the Jeep, of this style of Jeep 9, you can get two different cab numbers and double head them.
Now, Rich, on that one, before you get to the others, you got to throw Ken Sr. some props because he was very involved in that artwork. I think he was hitting the sauce a little bit when he was coming up with the concepts, but he was very involved.
It's hard for me to throw Senior any props, but you're right. It was his idea. So
It was. It was. Well, I mean, one of them, it looked like he drew it in the dark or something, but we worked through all the details. It came out pretty well, I think.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. You come up with an
Yes.
idea and you just keep working it. Keep working
Exactly.
it. And with
Exactly.
your
It's only 12 or 13 artwork turns. It wasn't a big deal. No strain on the team. Just saying.
Your expertise, Andy, is by far the best out there. You're a very gifted guy, and you know how to make things work. And just from a conversation, you get it, and you can make it happen. So thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. No, it was fun.
anyway, I don't know, Kenny, what your order position is on some of these items, but go get them quick if you are, because they are fairly limited runs, pretty limited. So then you've got some RS3s that are coming in Long Island livery for them. And again, I think you guys weighed in on these. There's 3 different schemes of the Long Island, and somebody threw this one together to us. I don't know if it was junior or senior, but they've been very popular, I think, for you too, Ken.
You know, over the years, everybody's been kind of making the same old paint jobs, and we just started to get a little creative. The what if paint jobs, and it's been working out quite well. So people like something different, just something different.
Good. I hope the sales are good. And then obviously we've got some SW8s here that are put together for you in New York, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Nassau terminal yards, in Long Island as well.
That's a SW1500.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you palsy?
I palsied on the arrows. Bear with me.
You let all the secrets out of the bag.
Oh, that's right. I did. It was so the SW1500s are the Long Islands, and there are a few different paint schemes there. Real sharp looking bicentennial one. And where did I go wrong? Okay. Anyway, those have been very popular for you too, I think, Kenny, right?
They're all popular. Anything Long Island's our territory, and it just sells like crazy. They can't get enough.
And of course, you're doing 3 different bump and go trolleys this season as well. You got your Long Island blue and yellow, the Harlem and Manhattanville, which I think turned out very well. I really like that one. And the City Hall to Central Park and Harlem Bridge, which I thought that turned out great too. So those things should be here toward Thanksgiving time frame. And
Yeah, and a lot of those trolleys, this trolley and the previous trolley, those are actually based off of actual trolleys in New York City that ran in the past. And to the Polo Grounds was the old Yankee Stadium, I believe. So a lot of history there, and for New Yorkers, and it's the iconic trolleys. It kind of where it started.
the old New York Giants played at the Polo Grounds.
Oh, the Giants? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Before my time.
That's where the shot heard around the world was, I'm pretty sure. So
And
That's correct. They just replayed it on the baseball playoffs going on. The other thing about those trolleys, there's artwork on the front and the rear, which you can't see from these profile shots. A good marketing person would have included that, but just being aware that there's some stuff on the fronts and the backs, and some of it kind of cool. I can't remember which one. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Anyway.
I'm glad you're here to point out my deficiencies, Andy. That's very nice of you. But
My pleasure.
yeah, Andy used to say it behind the scenes, but now since he has his own company, he can say it right live on the air.
Pretty much can say whatever I want. It's kind of liberating.
And,
so we've got some
Sorry.
50-foot modern box cars.
sorry, Rich. Peter was actually saying that the Mets played their first season at the Polo Grounds. So
Yep,
If you're a
that's
Met
probably
fan,
true before
you know
Shea was ever built. That's right. I forgot about that.
That's the problem with getting older, Rich.
Yeah, I know. And so there's some bay window cabooses, obviously in Long Island, 2 different car numbers for that, and 50-foot modern boxes, obviously. And Andy, I don't see the file for the hoppers, but anyway.
I couldn't find the pictures, so I took them
A
off.
good marketing person would have fixed that before they sent the file over to me. I got it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Just so that the general public knows that when we go into this custom stuff, just like most people, we just kind of pick a number and run with it. So it's really something you have to back order and get your orders in, because it's not huge quantities at all, and we're all just playing guesswork on how many to make. So the sooner you order something, the more we can definitely get some more quantity made for ourselves. And so always look about, don't wait till it comes out. Try to get your orders in so that possibly we can increase the quantity.
Yeah, absolutely. For really any of the offerings we've been doing, we're now pretty almost exclusively a built-to-order company. We almost have to be. So if you see an announcement, a general announcement or a custom run announcement, I would strongly encourage you to get onto it and get it ordered through your local dealer or whatever dealer is doing the custom run, because they probably aren't going to last very long.
Also, Rich, we just got the shipping bills. I almost fell down off my chair. It's like 4 times the price for shipping now from the manufacturer to us. It's going to affect prices down the road for sure, without a doubt.
And finally, you've all heard about the worldwide shortage when it comes to microprocessors and things like that. It is causing us some problems as well, some delays in being able to build new products and to be able to support the parts and sales, frankly. But hopefully that smooths out soon. It is going to also have an adverse effect on how quickly we can get the new WTIUs built and to you. So please be patient with us, because it's affecting everybody worldwide. And when the big guys can't get their stuff, we're going to struggle a little bit too.
and what?
Yeah, the train industry is just small potatoes for these companies. So we're at their mercy to some degree. We've been trying to source some of the parts that are still available, but everything's gone up in price, which kind of alludes to what Ken said about shipping. So the hardware costs are higher, and obviously the delays in getting the boards built will slide some locomotives south, if you will, in terms of the deliveries. It'll affect Atlas as well, who's going to be putting PS3 into their locomotives. And I think probably Lionel's having trouble even with their stuff. I don't want to speak for them, but it's a bad thing for all companies that use electronics and whatnot. So we certainly want to get the product out quicker, but we're kind of at their mercy.
Yeah, and Andy and Rich, you guys actually mentioned something a couple of months ago. Because there's a shortage on chips and everything, you guys are trying to come out with a little more rolling stock in the interim until you get more of those chips. So I saw a lot of comments, people asking where are the big boys, where is this steam engine, any more steam engines, or just engines in general. And it is a backlog, so that's the reason why they've been coming out with more rolling stock and freight cars in the interim to kind of keep the pipeline flowing.
Yeah, I did see an update on the big boys just this morning, I believe it was, and they're not going to be too awful far out now. Whether we have enough boards to complete the next, we've already promoted the USRA Pacifics in Premier, and they may be delayed a little while too, just for the same reasons.
Yep, and a question just came in about the G-scale big boys. The same thing, they will be making them.
Yes.
So.
And is there going to be a big quantity of parts supplied? Mike, do you know how much you have or going to have in parts? Is it enough to keep everybody going? You know, a lot of MTH trains out there.
Yep, for sure. Well, I can tell you on the tinplate side, I've got enough tinplate parts to make sure that there will be tinplate parts left over when no one on the planet knows what tinplate trains are.
Well, I'm glad I know you, because if I call, I know you're going to get me what I need right away, right?
Always. Have I let you down yet?
Andy, this is the time where you put up Mike's cell phone number for parts.
Right.
Yeah, I've thought about that, but that dude's kind of big, so my personal well-being might temper that thought. Just saying.
Yeah, people always say with a car, with a boat, the service guy, the parts guy, make him your best friend because you're going to need him. And now it's in trains too. Mike, you're going to be the god of MTH, that's for sure.
I don't know about all that, but I do win on the height contest.
But you've always done a great job for whatever company you're with. You're always 100%, and you're a straight shooter. So the customers need to be straight shooters also, and that's important.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And before we go into the parts side of the business, Rich and Andy mentioned something that they're producing less product, so make sure you get your pre-orders in. There's going to be limited quantity, less product going around, and the demand is still very high for MTH product. A lot of people love MTH product. They've been buying MTH product for many, many years. So with less supply out there, people are going to gobble it up quicker. So definitely get your pre-orders in. Let us know so we could base our order and try to get them in appropriately. And it's going to be a little different. Rich and Andy used to have the luxury of having a huge warehouse to order a surplus of items. But it's definitely going to be changing where it's just more in and out. So.
Yeah, Rich has to unload those trucks, so he definitely wants to get them out as fast as he can. Again, it's another advantage of being a contractor.
We won't let Andy come in and unload trucks because we don't have a defibrillator hooked up on the wall, so we don't want to see any tragedies happen.
I wear them on my hip now. I just shock myself if I have to.
Well, what do you think is going to be the York outcome? What's your opinion? You think anybody know the pre-registration of people yet? Anything?
I've been so busy, I haven't kept up, but I haven't heard numbers, no.
Okay.
You also,
No, I haven't heard anything either, and it's kind of hard to say. I know that there's some exhibitors that aren't there, obviously, and but how many people attend? Part of me thinks might be a lot, just because people want to see their friends, and our clientele is older and probably vaccinated, and probably feels a little bit more comfortable. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll give us an insight into the health of the hobby.
Right. I think the consumer hopefully will bring some masks just in case. I know in our booth we will supply some masks, and we would prefer that the customer wears a mask in our booth. There'll be some unvaccinated people that are working for us, so it's kind of important to be safe. Everyone's got to be safe, have a good time, and so we can keep this show going again in another 6 months.
And,
No, you're absolutely right. Hopefully people take that to heart and get this thing licked. I think people are tired of it.
Yep. Yeah.
Rich and Andy, anything else on the supply side of things or operations that you want to kind of give an update on for all the customers out there?
No, just like I said, be a little patient with us. Things are, we are kind of learning how to work better in this new model. It's been, we're maybe getting a little. I'm a slow learner, so it took me a while to figure a few things out. And but be a little patient with us, because not everything is on us. We do need boards if we're going to build engines and stuff, and that has been a problem, and hopefully smooths out very soon. I hope it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think to add to that, people that subscribe to the newsletter, that's where you're going to find your information out. People who need product service can utilize our service network. The headquarters doesn't do service, so it's all done through the dealers that are providing service. There's links on the website that will point that out. There are links on the website to the new parts and sales site, and there's contact forms if you have questions. It'll be faster to do it that way than to call, because the staffing at the new company isn't what it was at the old one. So use those sources for gathering up information, and they'll take care of you.
All right. And before we kick it over to Parts and Mike Regan, two things really quick on estimated delivery dates, Rich. G-Scale Big Boy, and someone was still looking for the HO, I think Little Joe's. Sounded like he was upset with us that we didn't ship him out yet. So.
Well, we had a bit of a problem with the HO Little Joe's in that for quite some time, we could not find some tooling that went missing. Yeah. And finally, I think we got all that resolved just fairly recently. So that will be the final HO pieces we ship. I don't know an exact ETA, but I would say probably around the first of the year you should see them. I think you may see the G-Gauge Big Boys maybe a little bit in front of that. But I think the O-scale Big Boys you'll see a little in front of the G-Gauge.
Awesome.
Any cancellations at all, Rich? Anything like that happening?
Just your account. Nothing. I can't think of anything. Certainly nothing we've promoted recently has been canceled. So pretty much we're almost through all the 2020 Volume 1 and Volume 2 product. There's very little of that still to come in. And like I said, the last of the HO, and we will keep making G-Gauge. I hope you keep supporting us. TrainWorld is one of our biggest dealers on that. They do a great job with it.
Yeah, we actually
very
have some
easy with
exclusives for TrainWorld and G-Gauge that'll be announced sometime in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be cool.
Sounds good.
Kenny, is something I don't know about?
You'll know when you get the bill.
Okay.
Whoops.
Andy did an excellent job as usual, so
Yeah.
we'll be good.
Well, Ken Senior, you shouldn't have a problem getting the bill. Rich just canceled your account.
Yeah.
There you go. And they're asking for a next MTH catalog, as we said. Sign up for their emails to get the announcements on the new items. There won't be a new catalog this time around. And so a lot of questions coming in, but Mike can't be on all night. So we'll get to Mike Regan from, I guess, the sales department of MTH now. And a lot of people waiting to hear what you got to say, Mike.
Well, I don't know about that. Rich is the sales department. I just, I'm the guy at the bottom of the totem pole dealing with parts. So let's see. Where do we start? So July of last year, Mr. Wolf reached out and said, want to fix my parts department. And I figured I must be the only guy in existence, because if anyone else could do it, he would have called them. So, given my specific skill set in the model train industry, specifically 3-rail with parts, and what I did for another company that the only thing they have in common with Logic is LIO. Obviously anyone who's been out there that's done the ordered parts from Lionel, you've seen what we built over there with the exploded views and the individual part photos, etc. So we basically took that knowledge base and applied it to MTH. The drawback to it is I'm 30 years late to the party. So that means that there's just a substantial amount of work in triaging, naming, numbering, and inventorying parts, right? Just to put it into perspective, there's about 50 skids stacked about 4 to 5 foot tall. Each skid has anywhere from 6 to 12 different locomotive projects on it, accessory projects that still need to be gone through. So, there's about 25 to 28,000 parts in the system right now that all have photographs and proper names, etc. And I'll get to the website here in a second just to show folks what we've put together. But just to kind of put it into perspective, when I got here, there were 680 unique part numbers for a part called a motor. And that was the description, motor times 680. And you had to click on it 9 times to figure out what it went to. And then you got to go to the MTH website to Andy's product finder to find out what model it actually went to. So it was a bit of a disorganized challenge. But we got that cleaned up, right? We went from 680 down to 32. So we got 32 motors, and everything in between that's the same as underneath one number. What else? There's been so much. Andy, you said 33,000 products. You were off by 10,000. There's 43,000 unique products. I know because I touched every single one of them in September and October of last year when I built the product database so that we could tie all the exploded views back to the products, et cetera, et cetera. So 43,416 or something.
I'm not going to put those in.
I know. I already
Yeah,
did.
not doing it.
I just need 2021 so I can get current. But you've been promising me that for like 4 months now.
Understood.
So that was the product database, and like I said, it's parts, right? I mean, parts are pretty boring until you need them, and then when you need them, they're pretty important. So while I'm at the bottom of the heap, I'm also when you need that part, we become pretty important. So let's see. Let me get a couple things off the top. Just so everybody out here knows, my name is Mike Reagan, not Midge Wilburn. My job is to sort all the parts for all the people. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to find one part for one person because I'll never finish. Where we're at right now at 15-hour days, I should have this wrapped up in about 10 years. let's see. We don't have a phone, so don't call. Email us. It's info@mthpartsandsales.com. There's 3 of us total. I'm in Concord, North Carolina. The other 2 are up in Elkridge, Maryland. We just don't have the bandwidth to answer phone calls. So if you need something, email us. That's our primary point of communication with the customers, dealers, service centers, etc. And I could babble on all night, but let me just show you the website to show you what we put together. Pretty intuitive. So 2 really powerful search engines in there. There's about 160 exploded view diagrams. I only have about 2,900 more to go. So if you can't find the part you're looking for on an exploded view diagram, we've given you access to our entire our entire service parts database. So you can search the parts individually based on the model that you have. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll dive in. Okay, so is it small? Does it need to be big? Can everybody see that, or is that tiny?
Can't read anything, but it's.
I can't make it any bigger on my side. Kenny, can you blow that up?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Nope.
Can you say that website again one more time?
Sure. Thanks, Ken. Yeah, it's www.mthpartsandsales.com.
Okay. And AND sales, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That is correct. So to give you an example, let's just do, well, this is the landing page, basically, right? So we've tried to keep this very clean and very streamlined. So we've got 6 sections: exploded view part lists, product manuals and sound files. A little comment here about sound files. I've been working with one of our sound engineers. A lot of the missing HO scale sound files are now up on the site. All of the contemporary tin plate sound files that have never been there are there now, as well as a lot of the files that were missing before are now up there. And honestly, when you click on this basically takes you over to the MTH Trains website, right? This is just a field for you to search. So nothing real exciting there. And then we've got upgrade kits, tools, and products. So things like make PS1 chips, smoke fluid, all of the original scents for MTH smoke fluid are there. Some figure packs, things like harnesses, universal harnesses for steam and diesel locomotives, smoke wick, that type of stuff. We've got the service parts, which I'll dive into here shortly. The junkyard, this is basically stuff that doesn't make sense for us to put in inventory. We've got onesie twosies of it, and it doesn't really fit. It could be a pilot that's missing coupler cut levers, or steam chests that are missing crosshead guides, whatever. And then this section here, this helpful stuff in videos. This is basically all the videos that were on the MTH Trains website under service. But there's a couple things here I want to point out. One of them is part numbers are decoded. It's a document I put together that basically tells you what the 2 letters and then the next 3 numbers mean in terms of MTH parts, just to help you better understand how the part numbering system works. There's a traction tire chart that you no longer need an optivisor to read. You can actually see it without putting on magnifying glasses. But most importantly, there's these motor lists, right? There's a Premier diesel motor chart, Rail King diesel motor chart, and a Rail King steam motor chart. So here's an example of one of them. And basically, it gives you mechanical drawings of all the measurements on the motor. It tells you what worm gear is on it. And these are the actual numbers from the factory, right? These are the factory worm gear numbers. And it tells you what motor it is, right? 385s are tall, 365s are short. It shows you what locomotives it works in, right? So if you've got a Rail King Allegheny, this is the motor you need, and then here's all of your, here's all the parts you're going to need, right? If you want a striped flywheel motor with a PS3 bracket or a PS2 bracket, there's your part number that you can enter in the site and purchase the motor, right? So that's pretty complete for all the Rail King Steam, Rail King Diesel, and Premier Diesels. And then let's do an exploded view part list. So here's an example of taking a PS1 exploded view that existed previously and adapting it to the new site. So my search criteria was big boy. You'll notice that it sorts it by product category, right, in alphabetical order. So we got HO, then Premier, we get down to Rail King, and finally Rail King 1 gauge. So like I said, I've got only 2,900 more part lists to go. So what we've done is, let me click on this mechanical parts. What I've done is I've taken this old exploded view, had to change all the call out numbers so that they match the part list down below, right? And here's all of your individual parts. So you'll notice call out number 1. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different products for call out number 1. And the reason for that is we're trying to capture everything, right? So this is a PS1 pilot truck, which is pretty bland. Here's a 2-rail O scale, 2 options there. Here's a pilot without brake shoes, et cetera, et cetera. So basically putting all of the PS1, PS2, and PS3 parts on one list. So when you go to a list, just make sure that you look at all the parts for a specific call out. Mm-hmm. So we've got a part here. Let's say we want this bracket, right? But right now it's out of stock. If you click on add and put your email address in there and click notify me, when it comes back into stock, you'll get an email from us that says, hey, this part number you were interested in is back in stock. You can come back and buy it. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to continually keep checking back to see if something that you want has come back into inventory. But as you can see, there's a lot of work here. There's an individual photo for everything.
Mike, I got a question.
Yep.
On, let's say, engines, there's like a first run, second run, third run of, let's say, a big boy.
Sure.
Would the parts still be the same no matter what run it is?
No, that's not true. So basically the way the mechanical parts work, let's talk about mechanical parts first, then we'll talk about electronics. Basically the way it works out is if it's ProtoSounds 1, right, that was the very first time it was introduced and produced, right? So from a detail perspective, and not that I'm not knocking anything, I'm just telling you the way that it is. From a detail perspective, the detail is going to be pretty limited, right? Because back in the late 90s when this stuff was first coming out, it was the first time it had ever been brought to market. So a perfect example of that would be what would be a perfect example. Let's do this right here. Let's do the centipede tender truck for the tender, right? It's call out number 180. So we'll jump down to 180. And here we go. And I want to find the stamped metal frame. This one here. This is the ProtoSounds 1 centipede tender truck, right? Pretty basic. The frame is made out of stamped metal. The next place we go from here is ProtoSounds 2 5-volt. And so what has happened in the evolution of MTH products as they started out in the late 90s and progressed up into 20, 21, 22 is things change, right? You start getting more detail. Things start changing. This stamped metal frame went from stamped metal to die cast, right? And you can see here it's got a mount here for a coil coupler. But there's no place in here for switches, right? So as the ProtoSounds packages advanced, the locomotive packages advanced. So in this instance, with this truck, this is a truck for a PS2 5-volt big boy, or a Yellowstone, or a Challenger, right? The Centipede trucks are all the same. After we leave that, we go into Protosound's 2 3-volt, which starts into being able to select between DCS and DCC, and in some instances, even being able to select 3-rail, 2-rail operation. So let's get to the next one. Here's one. This is the next iteration. You'll notice that the coupler mount is completely gone. You'll also notice that there's slots in here for those large switches to choose DCS, DCC, and you can't see it real well in the photo, but there's a 2-rail, 3-rail switch up here as well. So the same thing happens with side frames, with pilots, with truck blocks, detail parts on locomotives. Some earlier PS1 Premier locomotives then later on became Rail King Imperial or Rail King Scale, and so on and so forth. So it's not necessarily true that the parts all stay the same.
Okay.
Now, what I can say with glee, believe me when I tell you this, is that the worm gear and the helical gear have remained the same from Protosounds 1 all the way to Protosounds 3. Thank God, because I can't even tell you how many 4-wheel power trucks I had to triage to get down to what we have now. But thank God all those gears have stayed the same.
Okay. All right. Now, let's say a mechanic guy, a guy that works on trains all the time could easily figure it out, but the general consumer, is there a way to match it up with an actual product number on his box?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to Exploded View part list, right, you put your product number in right here. You can put the dashes in. You can leave the dashes out. It doesn't matter. Okay. Right? So you can put your 20 dash, 30 dash, 10 dash, 80 dash number in there. So let's do, I don't know. Well, here, let's go back. Let me do Challenger. So this one I literally just completed like about a week and a half ago. So here's a Premier Challenger that, I had to blow out here on tables in my shop and put all the call out numbers in. So let's, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go back there and grab that product number. Oh, there is no product number. Okay. So give me a second. I just need to dash over here to the administrative side and find a part number for a Premier Challenger. So, all right, so here's a PS2 5-volt Challenger. Oh, come on. PS2 5-volt. And I've got a product number of course, I chose Rail King. That's not what I want. Ken, not easy for people to stump me.
Yeah.
But
Sorry
hold your heels. I'll be back. So here's a Premier Signature Series Challenger part number 20-81004-1. So Exploded View parts, we'll paste it in there. We'll hit search, and there it is. And this one says list coming soon because clearly I missed Signature Series, but it would pop up that same exact part list I had just a second ago for Challengers.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you can put your product number in there, no problem.
Yeah, that's going to be important for most people. Yeah,
sure. So let's just say that we take that one we just found, right? Which says list coming soon, which means there's not an Exploded View part list for it. Easy way to solve it. Click on shop, or actually we click on search service parts here. Watch what we do. I'm going to type in Premier Challenger. Actually, I'm going to make it even easier, right? Let's just get real simple. 4664. This is going to return every single part that's assigned to a Challenger, which is 2 pages of, it's 448 results of parts assigned to a Challenger. Now we can sort it based on Premier, right? Here's all of your individual parts for a Premier Challenger. et cetera, et cetera. So that's one way to sort, or that's one way to search.
Yep.
You know, we can do Rail King 1 gauge for the G gauge guys out there. There's all of the 34 entries of those 448 that are assigned to a Rail King 1 gauge Challenger. You know, pretty simple, pretty intuitive, not designed to be difficult, but designed to be easy.
Okay. Yeah. Is there minimum shipping and minimum order size or anything like that?
Nope. We've got parts in the system that are 25 cents. So if you wanna buy a 25-cent part and pay a $12 flat rate shipping, I'll be happy to send you a screw for an order.
There's people out there that do that.
Oh yeah. So USPS just had a rate increase 2 weeks ago, right? It was that they raised their prices and told us that it was going to take longer to get things somewhere. And I was like, Andy, we need to figure that out in our marketing where we can charge more money and then take longer to get it to people. But the flat rate shipping is, you know, a penny to 100, it's $12, 101 to 200 or to 199. You can see it right here.
Yep.
Right. It's 12, 18, and 24. And it's basically at the end of the day, it's small flat rate, medium flat rate, and large flat rate. For international customers, you're going to have to contact us at our email address. We don't have international shipping implemented because that became a much larger fish to fry than we anticipated. So we're still struggling or muddling through that, what that's going to be for international shipping. And then that causes issues with the credit card processing, et cetera. But when USPS drops their prices down like they say they will, our shipping rates will come back down, right? We're not making a profit on shipping. We're just trying to get you your parts with a tracking number. And USPS flat rate is the most cost-effective way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very nice. Very well understood, and I think the public will be very pleased with it.
Yeah, and you know, for anybody going to York, we'll have you know the parts booth from what you're used to in the past to what you're going to get next week. Or this week, I should say, it's, you know, we're not dragging 500 different parts to York. You know, we spent the entire month of June. We spent 27 15-hour days with a team of 4 people inventorying and locating all of these parts in the new warehouse. And the last thing I want to do is yank all that inventory out of stock, take it to a store, and that's just going to be a mess.
Yeah.
So, you know, anything you want, we can find it for you. We can show you how to use the site. We can order it for you. It'll be waiting on your doorstep when you come home. If there's anyone listening to the program who's ordered parts from us, if you could maybe throw a blurb at Ken Jr. and as to what you experienced in the service of ordering parts with us, I would appreciate it. But that's it. That's it in a nutshell. I'm gonna stop sharing. Mm-hmm. And figure out how I get back right there. Mm-hmm. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now, or otherwise I'll see you in York, or, you know, the parts are coming. Like I said, I've got 2,900 more lists to do, and I'm sort of doing this part-time in the background. So it just takes a lot of time. And if you don't see what you're looking for today, you know, just keep checking back or put it on your wish list, and we'll notify you as soon as it comes in. And, you know, we're trying to make it easy. You know, there's been, you know, getting mechanical parts from MTH in the past has been a challenge. You know, it's probably one of the biggest reasons I don't do MTH repairs is because getting parts was murder. And we're trying to solve that problem, right? I want to make it easy for everybody to get parts. I'm sorry I don't have technical assistance. I mean, that's not really the business that we're in. We're just basically selling parts. I mean, every circuit board, the limited supply of circuit boards that we do have now, everything gets tested before it leaves, right? I don't really want to deal with I got a board and it's broken. No, you didn't get it. It didn't leave our place if it wasn't 100%, period. Because I went through that at Lionel. I don't want to go through that here. And it's a lot more challenging for me to do it here in Concord, North Carolina, when everything flows in and out of Elkridge, Maryland.
By the way, you're getting some positive comment feedback about ordering parts online and whatnot.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's good. I mean, we had some hiccups in the beginning. You know, we launched on a Thursday, and the server wasn't big enough, and I've had to unfortunately learn all of this technology stuff. It was forced on me to learn it. So I'm a train part guy. I'm a Jeep guy. I don't know anything about servers and code and all that other stuff. And even setting up an email account, that was a challenge. So you guys would have gotten a laugh out of me for sure.
Okay. Well, a lot of times customers come in my store and they want to get an engine repaired, and the parts get pretty expensive, and it's a lot of guesswork to what it is. So what I tell some customers, I say, you know what? Just turn it into a dummy unit if it's a powered that doesn't work, or just use it for parts. Keeping that engine, just using it for parts is cheaper than buying anything you got to buy in parts.
Oh, you got that right. I'll tell you what, those 4-wheel power truck blocks work great on big boys. And side frames look really nice on you take a GP38 side frame and stick it on a Challenger tender. Those look good too.
Some parts are interchangeable. Diesels, a lot of diesel parts.
Yeah. I got you.
You still got a job. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. He's putting you out of business before you leave the show.
I'll tell you, it's been great to see you, Ken. Thanks very much. York is only a couple days away, and I'm coming.
That's great.
Awesome. All right. Well, if nobody else has got any parts, yeah, I got some parts. Anybody got parts? If you have extra parts laying around, you want to get rid of them, send them to us. I'll take them for free, and then I'll sort them out, give them part numbers, organize them, take pictures of them, and sell them back to you. We could do that too.
Mike, Paul Yelk actually just wanted to let you know if you could please update the part search to indicate that you could use an MTH SKU. Currently, it does not say that, so you may want to just tweak that when you get a chance. But okay. A lot of positive feedback, a lot of good experience so far, and it's only the beginning. So if you don't see what you're looking for, check back a couple of months later. I'm sure Mike's going to be working around the clock to get it up and loaded.
Yeah. So there's Andy will be sending out an email. There's about 8 or 10 part lists that are completed, and the parts will be part of the trip to York is to deliver 8 projects worth of parts back to Maryland so we can put them in location and sell them. So a lot of mechanical parts, and to Rich's comment earlier, or Andy's, I don't remember who made it, but the worldwide shortage on electronic components is not helping us. Unfortunately, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Ford, Toyota, those companies are buying a lot more than we are. So they're priority one. And, we're unfortunately in this world, the small fish in the pond when it comes to electronics. But, the end goal, just so everybody's aware, my end goal with these parts is to have these circuit boards in stock all the time. Right. So guys don't feel the pressure to hoard them. If you're going to need 2 diesel upgrade kits, you just go on the site and buy them, right? We want to have this stuff in stock all the time. Boiler boards, PS3 tender boards, all of it, stackers, the whole 9 yards. That's the goal, right? And that really comes into play in the strategery that we use in ordering those boards and the availability of the components. So that's where we're headed. We just got to get over this whole worldwide logistical problem and get beyond this chip shortage and get beyond COVID, and we'll be there. So coming along. And guys, Kenny Senior, Junior, I really do appreciate you letting me talk about parts. I know that in the big scheme of things, parts isn't moving trains necessarily tonight, but we'll keep all those trains moving that you've sold in the past and you will sell moving forward. So
awesome.
That's what we're doing.
I wanted to thank both of you very much. You've, helped us many times in the past here where get our message out. And obviously there was a lot of questions about everything MTH. So we really appreciate you having us on here. I look forward to seeing you guys at York, and thanks.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich, Andy, Mike. This is great, and I really appreciate all of you guys popping on tonight to be a part of this and to kind of give an update of what's going on, because a lot of people still come in the store and they say, "Oh, is MTH out of business, or what's happening? Did they sell all the tooling?" So it's nice for the customers out there, especially right before York, because everybody's going to go in a frenzy, to find out what's going on. And I think everybody should be happy to know that pretty much the team is still intact, and you could expect the same quality and experience and great details that you're used to coming out of MTH Engine. And on top of it, you're going to get a great part site where you could really find what you're looking for. So I think this was really nice for everybody out there to kind of get a good sense of what's going on with MTH, and to know that MTH is still going strong.
So Kid, I gotta throw one more thing in the ring. First, I gotta give a shout out to Mr. Roger Farkash over at TW TrainWorks, who has been struggling with some COVID issues, but he's doing a great job. He's getting better every day. And yeah, I think you have a TW TrainWorks layout in your showroom, don't you?
Yeah, the consumer loves it. It's spectacular layout.
Yeah, so I'm still involved with TW TrainWorks. So if you guys need a layout to run your DCS trains on, I happen to know a guy. I brushed his teeth this morning. Could help you out building a pretty sweet layout.
Very good, very good. Yeah.
Well, just so everyone knows that every business today has been going through a lot of challenges, and MTH and TrainWorld, we're just changing with the times. We got to adapt. We move forward, and quite honestly, we're more efficient. We're better than ever. And Rich and Andy is a great team. They're a duo, and even though they're separate now, there's a lot of magic there. They can make anything happen, and I'm glad you guys are still around, because you're the guys that make it happen. You really are. You're the MTH company. You two guys.
Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, that's nice of you to say.
Where's Mike?
I take more credit than Rich, though, frankly.
I am the most humble guy in the train business.
Indeed.
So.
Very good. All right. Well, any last minute updates before we tune out for tonight?
Just some new announcements coming probably next Wednesday. Sign up for the newsletter, and you'll be kept informed.
All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for watching tonight. Big thank you to MTH, Andy, Rich, and Mike for joining us for another action-packed episode. Thanks to my father, Ken Sr., for making it on tonight and always doing it out with a testing scenario, but he did make it.
I'm changing with the times. I'm changing.
Yes. And but all in all, great episode. Thank you everyone for watching. You could get all your MTH trains at TrainWorld.com. All those MTH exclusives we have under TrainWorld exclusive or the MTH brand. You could shop online 24/7. Thank you guys so much. If you're going to York, hopefully we'll see you. If not, we'll see you soon. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah. All right.